organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, a University of Iowa professor and candidate for Coralville mayor is getting sued. Learn why.
An edible garden takes root in Iowa City. Find out how you can scavenger for some free food.
And in sports, a little free football in Kinnick. Highlights and post-game sounds of the Hawks' 17-10 overtime win against the Cats in just a bit.
And a rare historic football found in Des Moines, how it's connected to the UI and who has it now.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Good evening, I'm Tasha Woods.
And I'm Megan Tickner.
With just a few weeks to go, the Coralville mayor electoral is heating up. A local realtor is suing several people, including mayoral candidate Matt Adam. Adam is a teacher at the University of Iowa and a lawyer for Simons Perrine. The realtor accuses Adam of preventing him from getting some of the money from a sale of $11 million of land. A jury trial has been set for April 2014.
An edible park is 2 years in the making here in Iowa City. It's an initiative by the city to get kids outside. This afternoon, community members came together to work on a mulching project at Weatherby Park. The work is meant to help maintain the garden through the coming winter. The garden is a maze. Dozens of different kinds of plants are here, including fruit trees, berries, and vegetables. Soon the garden will be able to maintain itself and will continue to grow and produce more food year after year. Once it's all finished, it will be a maze of sorts. Here, kids can interact with nature and also reap the benefits. In other words, the food is free. The garden is meant to be a learning experience.
But it's also a living classroom. People can come out here and see what an edible landscape looks like, see fruit trees and berry bushes as they're growing. They can decide if those are the types of plants that they want in their own yard.
There will be more mulching projects this fall to conserve the garden, and volunteers are needed. So if you're interested in getting your hands dirty and learning more about having your own garden, you can find out more information online at icgov.org.
Ted Cruz made his rounds in Iowa this weekend. While here, Cruz warned that congressional Democrats will face political consequences in the next elections for their votes during the shutdown. This is Cruz's third and longest visit to Iowa. He has not commented on whether or not he will run in the 2016 presidential election.
The University of Iowa teaching assistant who accidentally emailed nude pictures of herself to students is done teaching at Iowa. Tom Moore confirmed that she remains a TA but is performing non-teaching duties.
And a shout out to the UI Creative Writing Program. An Iowa alum won a 2013 Booker Prize. Eleanor Catton won the prize for her second book, The Luminaries. At age 28, Catton is the youngest author to win the Booker Prize.
UI enrollment for 2013 decreased more than any other Iowa Regent schools. The UI had a loss of 433 students. That's a decrease in 1.4%. ISU surpassed the UI with an increase of 2,201 students.
This morning was a bit spooky on campus. The Student Academy of Audiology kicked off Halloween week with a costume 5K. They raised money for people with hearing impairment. The race began at 8 Sunday morning and lots of people paraded the town in their costumes.
And coming up next,
it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Men on campus are spreading the word and helping to educate.
And we've got a squirrely story for you. It's a bandit squirrel on the loose in Iowa. Better watch out.
We'll be right back.
Iowa SJMC.
Want a major that'll take you somewhere?
I joined and now I'm in Los Angeles, California, interning for Conan O'Brien at Warner Brothers Studios.
Well, it's been getting cooler outside, Tasha.
Yeah, I know. Last week we had quite a bit of snow, and then now it's going to rain.
And now we have our own Kara Bimschlager here with the weather. Kara?
Thanks, guys. This week will be nicer temps than last week, but expect rain to be added into the mix. But first, tomorrow morning, we'll start off with in the lower 40s, and in the afternoon, it will rise to 54 degrees and partly cloudy skies. By night, the temps will sink back down to 41 degrees, and as we look into the rest of the week, Monday and Tuesday will be in the mid-50s, but bring your umbrella out on Tuesday with a 50% chance of showers. The rain will continue through the week, but on a brighter side, Wednesday and Thursday will treat us with higher temps by 59 degrees. The weekend looks clear for your Halloween plans, with Friday and Saturday being in the mid-50s and partly cloudy. Well, that's all I have for you guys today at weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
This week is the end of Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
But the reality of breast cancer goes on. Daily Iowan reporter Mary LaPlaca found some men on campus making a difference.
More younger women are being diagnosed with onset breast cancer. It's not just women who are noticing this change, but men have been taking action as well. I do want to warn you, there are some images that contains graphic content. Most women under 40 are starting their lives and not thinking about breast cancer. But recently, breast cancer has been rising in numbers for younger women. To create awareness, UI fraternity Kappa Alpha Psi gathered for a walk of remembrance for those who are battling. And even men were conscious of the benefit of getting checked before it was too late.
Just number one thing is just making sure with the awareness is to go get checked, go get a mammogram, and make sure you consistently not just checking yourself for simple health vitals, but also just making sure that you're okay, especially with this big epidemic of cancer, period.
And this type of awareness have been on a heavier note with photographers David J's Scar Project, where he portrays young women that have turned into victims. The Scar Project uses portraits of young women to create awareness of early onset breast cancer and to increase the reality that cancer is not determined by age anymore. David J. commented on his work and said, "The Scar Project's message is one for humanity, the acceptance of all that life offers us, all the beauty, all the suffering too, with grace, courage, empathy, and understanding." Talk to your doctor to look over your medical history and see if you should be checked today. Mary LaPlaca, Daily Iowan TV. Well, we wish the best to all that have been affected by cancer.
Thanks for that, Mary. Definitely a difficult illness to face.
We wish the best as well. But now let's take a look at what's happening beyond Iowa.
Indiana University's campus is asking questions following a stabbing Sunday. Police arrested 2 men on Bloomington campus. The university issued a campus-wide alert after the incident at 4 a.m. There were no serious injuries reported.
Back to campus, a rare football signed by Niall Kinnick is now in the hands of UI's Phi Kappa Psi. An Iowa representative found the ball in the basement of a West Des Moines home he was renting. Because Kinnick was a Phi Psi, the fraternity jumped on the chance to bid. A Niall Kinnick autograph is valued around $5,000. I think how Niall Kinnick must have been watching over us this weekend on the field.
Yes, huge victory for the Hawkeyes on Saturday, leaving them 1 win shy of returning to the college football's postseason.
Our own Jordan Cabielis and Whitney Blakemore were there and have the full report.
Hawkeyes back home on Saturday, taking on the Northwestern Wildcats on family weekend in Iowa City. We picked this one up first quarter. Opening drive for the Hawkeyes. Mark Wiseman getting the ground game going early. 11 yards here on 2nd and 1. Sets up this later in the drive. First and goal from the 3, and Damon Bullock powers his way into the end zone for the touchdown. Gets the Hawkeyes on the board early, 7-0. Iowa would add a field goal in the second quarter and take a 10-0 lead into halftime. Now, Northwestern trying to claw their way back into this one. They've lost 3 in a row, and it's Kane Coulter finding Dan Vitale for 31 yards down to the Iowa 47, and then Coulter doing it with his feet. He'll scramble here for 13 yards down to the Iowa 34, and that will set up this later in the drive. 2nd and 8 from the Iowa 10. Coulter back to throw and finds Vitale again, this time in the end zone. 10 yards for the touchdown. Gets Northwestern on the board and cuts the lead to 3. Now, after Northwestern ties it to start the fourth quarter with a field goal, Iowa trying to regain the lead. Jake Rudock finds Jake Doozy for 20 yards down to the Northwestern 41, and that will set up this later in the drive. 42-yard field goal attempt for Mike Meyer, but the wind grabs it wide left, no good. So Northwestern has a chance to take the lead. First and 10 from their own 40-yard line, and Stephen Buckley will take this one 30 yards all the way down to the Iowa 30, but next play following a penalty, the toss for Mike Trumpy is fumbled and recovered by the Hawkeyes, but they can't do anything with it. We end regulation tied at 10, and we're going to need extra time to decide this one. Northwestern wins the toss and elects to play defense, so first play, Rudock finds Tavon Smith for 14 yards. Then 3 plays later, he finds his tight end, C.J. Fedorowicz, into the end zone to give Iowa a 17-10 lead. It electrifies the crowd, and it was nearly deafening at Kinnick Stadium. So, Iowa has to play defense. First play for Northwestern. Kane Coulter is sacked, and then 3 plays later, 4th down, last chance for the Wildcats, and Coulter will be sacked again for a loss of 1. Iowa wins this one in overtime in front of a very loud crowd at Kinnick Stadium. 17-10 your final in overtime. Now for a more in-depth look at the game, let's toss it over to Whitney Blakemore.
Despite having the lead going into halftime in all 7 games this season, the Hawks have had trouble finishing, especially these past 3 weeks, dropping consecutive games to Michigan State and Ohio State.
The last 2 times we had leads at halftime, couldn't finish the game, so yeah, and maybe it's even better this one went beyond the 60 because that was kind of our message, 60 and whatever else.
Although the Hawks led 10-0 at the break, second half brought about deja vu for many in attendance, as the Wildcats refused to go away, scoring their first touchdown late in the third and tying it with a 29-yard field goal early in the fourth. However, it quickly became evident that this was not the same Hawkeye team as a week ago. After relinquishing the lead, both the offense and defense regained their composure, giving Iowa numerous opportunities to redeem control. Rudock was 6 for 8 in passes in the fourth, with 1 interception that led the Hawks into overtime. He came in strong, completing both of his 2 passes, including the game-winning touchdown to C.J. Fedorowicz.
If the game goes overtime, you have to finish. That's the big thing, and it's a little bit different because you can kick a field goal from that, and with the win today, you can definitely kick an easy field goal. And just being able to get the full 60 and, like you said, the plus extra minutes was definitely huge.
The defense also recovered from a disappointing second half, sacking Kane Coulter twice in OT. True freshman Desmond King also took his game into a second level late with a major fumble recovery and a pass breakup in overtime.
And, he's a confident player, maybe sometimes too confident, but he's a confident guy. He just doesn't seem to be overwhelmed by it, and turnovers ended up being a big part of the game, certainly.
Although for the first time in 3 weeks, Iowa was able to close out and take the win, there is still a lot of room for improvement in second half play, as next week's opponent, Wisconsin, is 11th in the nation in total offense and 6th in the nation in defense.
As an offense, we got to put up more points in that. We shouldn't be making it a game and then the fourth like that, especially in the third quarter when we had the wind in our backs. We got to put up some points. So, we're going to work on that this week, and hopefully we can finish games out.
Although it took more than 60 minutes, the Hawks were able to tame the Wildcats in overtime. And now for a final recap, I'm going to toss it back over to Jordan Cabialis. Jordan?
After losing back-to-back conference games to Michigan State and Ohio State, the Hawkeyes find themselves back in the win column with a 17-10 overtime victory over Northwestern. The win puts Iowa at 5-3 on the season and surpasses their win total of last year. The Hawkeyes currently sit at 4th place in the Legends Division and will take on the Wisconsin Badgers next week right here at Kinnick Stadium. Jordan Cabialis, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Thanks for that coverage, guys. Some strange news in Iowa. A banded squirrel was caught red-handed in Estherville this weekend.
The squirrel was doing his work on a bicycle when he got caught. Check out this picture from the Sioux City Journal. The rodent chewed through 2 tires, a bicycle seat, and a headlight, and a taillight.
The owner reported the damage to the police, assuming the culprit was human. Later, a passerby saw the crime. The squirrel is still on the loose.
What a crazy squirrel.
I know, right?
And only with Daily Iowan TV, you can get a sneak peek into tomorrow's pages of the Daily Iowan.
Read about prescription drug abuse in Iowa. Overdose deaths are on the rise.
And a look at why less UI students are studying abroad in the Middle East.
Well, that's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check us out anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.